Hi friends, in the last session we have studied about how to create the tables and we were getting one error for the grants. Today we'll solve that error and then create the blocks, study how to write the blocks and how to move further in the PLSQL. So we were getting the errors in the case of grant. We need to connect to the sys user. For that you'll go to session, then new connection, then to the sys user connect. I hope you have already saved your sys user password in the toad. If you haven't still now, then do it right now. So for that we need to give the grants to the user. I'll give the create session and create table to the telecomma user in which I'm working. For here, if you are using some other username, some you are doing work in some other, then you need to replace this telecomma with the username you are using. So if we need to execute this command, then in the below we can see in the result tab script output that the grant has been completed. So the create table grant has been given to the telecomma user, and we need to connect to sys user. For this, the reason behind that, sys has all the rights for the giving the grants and revoking the revoking also for revoking any of the create session, create table for the user. So this is the only one which have all the rights. I would say it has the rights to create and the revoke. So then we need to create the unlimited table space for the telecomma user so that it can use that for creating the tables. And then going to the telecomma user, we'll create the table here. Control F5, table is created. You can see the output here. The table is created. Then we'll create the unique index and the foreign key. Index is also created. Then alter table for the for the primary key. Then the primary key is already created, so the table has been created. Then moving to the second one, I'll select I'll select all this and then execute the command. So if you go to your result, if the commands have been successfully created, then you can see the table is created, command is created, index is created, table is altered, and so on below. So these all commands have successfully executed, so there is no error. If there is some error in your query which you were writing, then that will show here. Then you need to correct that before moving further. So now we'll write the PLSQL block. In the last previous sessions we have seen that how there are how we write the what is the what keywords consist of PLSQL block. So let me show you once again. So this is the syntax for the PLSQL block. First we declare, then the declarative section, if present, then begin, and then the execution part, then exception handling part. So now we write basic big block for you. So I've already created one block. I'll take that from my let me help you in understanding. So I have put it like set server output on 10,000 for the PLSQL program execution. So this is the this why we use server output on PLSQL program. We have already studied that the PLSQL program execution happens in the PLSQL engine. So for that we required, if we want to required to show the result, then we need to on this server output. This is basically used for SQL Star Plus, because with that help only you can see the result. So you need to set the server output on size. You can define it by on your own. So here in the first we have the keyword declare. In the declare, I have declared 3 variables. These are the variables which I have declared: v underscore first name, v underscore last name, and v underscore m code. All are in varchar. So these are the declarations. This, as uh, we have already discussed that this is the declaration part is the optional one. This is according to my requirement. I want this first name, last name, and m code to be there. So this is there. So this, I for showing that I need this. So then going to begin now. With the begin, we are starting our executable part. So executable part, by using this to hash, we write the commands. We'll study this further on. So this is this part, executable part, what I've written is the commented part. So here you can see that vm code is the variable I've declared above. Below I'm using the same vm code. Here I have given this m code as 0001. So before this also we need to make some insertions. I've already created a few one. So let me execute that insertions for the better one. So these are the insertions which I have already created. Insertions for the table department master and insertions for the table employee master. There are 5 columns we have discussed: department code, department name, HOD, last updated by, last updated date. So last updated by and date we usually use for maintaining that by whom the record has been updated and on which date it has been updated. So I'll control A and control C. I'll select all the data, then I'll copy, then execute in my SQL. I can share this data with you if you want. So if you can see below, the rows has been created successfully and the data has been committed. So all the rows has been created and the data has been committed. So now moving to the PLSQL block. In this I have written one select statement, basic select statement. This is the select first name and employee last name from the employee master table. In SQL we don't write this into, but in PLSQL block we need this into, because before if we are not writing a into statement, if we are not giving, then it will not execute it right. In PLSQL we need to assign the values which we fetch into some variables for showing the data. So we need this variables. For that I have declared it above. If you can show that v first name and v last name. So this v first name, you can see this I have highlighted, then this is also highlighted, v first name and then v last name. So first name and last name we are inserting into this in these variables from the table employee master, and employee code is equal to vm code. So here vm code I have assigned it to m 00001. So this for this 0001 it will select the record, the first name and the last name. Then after that, for in PLSQL block we use dbms underscore output put line for showing the result. We cannot see the result without this dbms underscore put line, because it's a block and it will for showing the result we need to execute this line, and then we can see the result only. If I do not write this line, then it will give you a result PLSQL block is compiled successfully if there is no error. Then but it will not show any of the it will not show any of results to you, so you need to write this line while writing your code. So I've written here that first name of the employee, VM code of them VM code is V first name, concat, this is the concat operator in the PL/SQL, so concat with the P last name. We study about all this operator in the further study, but still you need to write some queries for PL/SQL block, but do write it here. I'll let you understand further what is the exact usage and how and where we can use that. So this is all about the executable part. In the executable part, the select query would run and it will fetch the result from the employee master table, and it will give back it to the stored into the variables first name and last name. Then with the help of DBMS output put line, we can see the result. But this is the happy scenario in which the select statement would run and we'll get the result. But if any case the error would come, any of the error, let's suppose a very common error when there is no data for this employee code 001, then it will throw you error. So for that we have the very grateful thing in the PL/SQL, that is the exception handling part. In the exception handling, we handles the unknown exception which comes at runtime. So the errors which comes while before runtime, we correct that and then the code is executed. But the errors which are unknown to user but would come at the runtime, that would be handled by this exception handling part. So here I have handled one exception when no data found. This is one of the exception. We'll study this exception handling part also further in very detail. So if no data found exception it will find, then it will give you DBMS underscore output line employee code, this is not found. But this is one of the errors. If there are some errors which are not defined, so for that we'll write here like that: when others, then it will show you the result same as DBMS output underscore put line employee VM code, some other error occurred. So for this finding that which error occurred, we have further code, SQL ERM, SQL code, but that's in depth. We'll study that further also. So this is the exception handling here. We have handled two of the exception, no data found, and the others exception. You can see here that no data found is in lowercase and others is in uppercase. We have discussed that the PL/SQL is a case-free language. We can write it any of the one. But for this, for having a better look, we should write it in one. So we should write it in one, and I need to change here others. Okay, the spell is not correct, so it's not in red, but now it's correct, so it's come in red. So it will also help you to write your queries. And then the end, so this block is going to end over here. We can put the semicolon also for ending and for slash also. The meaning of the slash is to execute the most recently entered statement, regardless that it's a PL/SQL or the SQL statement. So it both semicolon and slash would helps you to execute your data which you have entered. So we'll execute this and we'll check that what is the result. So I'll select with the control A, then execute with control F5. here you can see, with the help of server output on, we can see that the first name of the employee M001 is Suraj Thakur, which I have inserted. Then you can see the result is PLSQL procedure is successfully completed. Let's execute the same thing with the another with the some changes. So I'll here clear the output, then set the server output on as commented. So now the server output is not on. Then I'll select Control A F5. It's also showing the same result. First name of the employee is this Suresh Thakur. This is the reason, because you have already on the server output for the first time. Now it's already on. So if you want to set the server output off, then you need to go right here that set the server output off. In the DBMS output also you can see the result for the DBMS. First name of the employee is Suresh Thakur, and then also first name is the Suresh Thakur. DBMS output is for this DBMS output dot put line. Let's execute with some error also. Then first we'll clear this part, and then clear the script output also. So we have cleared the output. Then we'll go above, and now for the emp code, I've only inserted 5 employee codes. Let me show you. This is this is 4, then 5, and 6 and 7. So I have inserted 7 employee codes. I'll do one thing. I'll execute with the some another emp code, like we'll write over here 100. So now we'll execute this. Control A and then F5. Control A F5. So you can see that M00100 is not found, and the PLSQL procedure is successfully completed. So the select statement doesn't give any of the result, so it goes into the exception handling part. And from the exception handling, it gives you error that the employee is not found, and the PLSQL procedure is successfully compiled. Because there is no error, you have handled the exception, so there is no error in this block. But the thing is that your 100 employee code is not found. So I think this is with this help you can write the blocks very easily. In the next section, we'll study about the nested blocks. So do write the blocks and do try it yourself with the same tables, with the another tables, with some of the queries to get it. Thanks.